What's up, Wednesday? Aliens. That's what. Woo! We are taking this like oldie but a goodie. I've invited some of my friends to join me to go back into this palette that is no longer being made. However, I did go on Mercari and I saw quite a few of them for sale. Prices varied. Some of them were stupid expensive and some of them were, kind of what you would expect. But, she's an old palette, so I'm not expecting her to perform exactly as she did, 6 years ago. But, there's that. I'm also going by a tutorial that's 6 years old from, Bright. I can't remember her name. It's Bright. Anyways, I will have the video that I'm trying to follow linked in my description box. So, if you want to try it yourself, have at it. Or even if you don't have the alien palette and you want to try this tutorial with different shades, that'll work too. But it's beautiful, and let's see how, come on back, let's see how it worked out. Okay, I believe her name is Angela Bright. So there's that. I went ahead and put primer on my eyes. I'm using a primer by Juvia's Place. I believe the shade is Milkshake. And I also use this shade right here, which is, this is going to be a long video. I'm sorry, guys. Titan. To, go like between the lid and the brow. Okay, so we're going in with Phone Home, which is, glasses. Hello. Phone Home. Here it is. Okay. Which is right here. And we're just going to kind of go in the crease with that. So with a nice big fat brush. And it's an old palette. It's a dusty palette. There's just not, I think I might go out on YouTube, because, you can pretty much find anything on YouTube. Like, you could build a house on YouTube. And just kind of see if I can figure out a way to maybe revitalize some of the shadows. Cause the shimmers are all wonderful. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of leave that like that and go on this side. So this is Phone Home, which is I'm not really sure how to describe this. It's a sort of a kind of a brown, but with sort of a berry, like a cool tone sort of thing going on. This actually might make a nice bronzer. Okay. And so there's Phone Home, and okay, we're just going to build up this color a little bit. So I should be using a different brush. I'm going to just kind of stifle it in, because I have got, the hoods from where. I'm trying really hard to drop the cursing. If you've been with me for long, I am the queen of the F-bomb. And I'm just really, I don't know. The closer I get to meeting God face to face, the more I decide I need to get my act together. And one of my most noticeable things about me is my cursing. So I'm trying really hard to not do that anymore. All right, so I think that's deepened up enough. Okay, so we're going in with Gravity on the same brush. Gravity, which, yeah, I keep forgetting I don't have my glasses on. Gravity is, I thought so. This one right here, okay, and we're just going on the same brush. We're going to use that to just kind of buff out the edges just a little bit. Ooh. Oh, Angela, you are so good. Like, seriously, well, if you, like, watch her stuff, you know she really knows what she's doing. And that really does give that a nice little aura to, I mean, can you see the difference? I don't even have my lights on. We're working in daylight here. Let's turn some lights on. Maybe you can actually see what I'm doing. Ooh, got my Jeffree Star little light. I just clamp on over there, and here comes the coup de grace. Can't believe I didn't turn. You know, the thing is, I just opened my curtains, and you know, it's been a long time since there's been daylight in this room. I'm kind of liking this. Let's do the other side. Yeah, it's Gravity. And so, you know, sometimes I forget that I need a little more light to, you know, light up my whole face for filming. And I'm just kind of going along the edge. I'm probably going up a little too high, but, you know, she's got way more real estate above the eye than I do. Way more. Okay, what was that? That was Gravity. Gravity! Like, spill the tea, only Gravity. Okay, I think maybe we should do some more blending. like maybe more blend. I might have put on a little too much because, you know, that's what I do. And then I end up having to, like, big brush. Blend, 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 blend. Nice big clean brush. Ooh, this is a nice brush. Whose is this? I believe this is Vasante. This is a nice brush. I have so many brushes, you guys. You know, and not many of them did I buy. A lot of them I got in subscription boxes. So I don't regret. I think that looks great. I don't regret the subscription boxes just because I learned a lot and I got a lot of stuff. Lots of stuff, man. Lots of stuff. This is Area 51, which is this purple right here. She uses that to just kind of deepen the, like, not much. I'm using a sort of a flat poofy brush. Not much on there. And she said she just wants to deepen up the crease. This might be too much brush. Well, I don't know. I think you can. You know, the thing is with the hooded eyes, sometimes you feel like you're putting on too much, but then when you open your eye, nobody can see it. And, you know, old palette, definitely tap, because old palettes tend to be dried out, you know, moisture dissipates, and it does not look symmetrical, does it? I really need the reason I use this stupid little mirror is because it's a 10 times magnification, which is way more magnification than any other mirror I have. And let me tell you what, it helps. But I'd like to have, you know, a real. It broke, you know, it broke. I don't know. Just a little bit more right there. Okay, and now I'm gonna wipe off my brush and just kind of blend that a little bit. The thing is, you know, your eyes don't, the wrinkles aren't in the same place on both eyes. The hoods are not, you know, one's going to be more pronounced than the other. One eye might have a hood and the other eye doesn't. I mean, it doesn't, nothing is symmetrical. It drives me crazy. That is, see how this kind of goes like this? It's because the skin just, bleh, you know? Try and like make it a little more, but yeah, okay, no. So I'm going with a different brush that I have a little bit more control with. This is a Lorella brush. I love Lorella products. And, you know, I went into their site to see, you know, like there's a palette that I kind of want. And, cause they used to have like really super reasonable palettes. And I gotta tell ya, I'm not sure what's going on there, but, their palettes are, instead of the average palette being like, you know, $10, the average palette is now like $25. Not that they're not worth it per se. I'm just disappointed because it used to be a great place to go and get, you know, not pay hardly any money for some really nice makeup. It's still not expensive. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that's build up, right? And then she said she wants to take Phone Home back on the same brush. Phone Home, and that was the first shade that we used. And she wants to just kind of like buff it out a little bit with that. So you're not going to really see the purple so much. I mean, you are, but ooh, you know, that's not bad. Like, I need to watch more her. I have a whole playlist on my phone of just, when I see a look or a tutorial that interests me, I put it on the playlist so that, you know, I always have access to it. I can go back later and look at it, which is how I have this. It's actually, I'm using my son's phone. I like, you know, texted it to him. Let me tell you what, though, this Phone Home over top of that purple is kind of nice. I do want a little more of that purple right here, though. I mean, I want to make it a little bit more symmetrical. Because I've got like purple coming in here and not so much on this side. So let's, okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Ooh. Whoa, that is some serious blending right there. I'm using a kind of a small, this is a Luxie. This came in a 4-pack from, I believe, BoxyCharm. You might recognize it. But it's a little bit of a detail brush. I'm going to use that to put the purple under the eye. You know, it's hard to tell because this purple is not performing the same way that it used to. I want to be careful not to get too much because I don't want it, you know, down to here. But you know, I have to do some serious building because it doesn't go on like the way that it used to. Okay, so I think what she wants to do is just kind of wrap the purple around. So that's sort of what we're going to do here. That looks pretty cool. All right, let's do that. Let's, you know, get the other side and tap, because you know this purple has gotten really powdery over the years. I'll tell you what, though, it still goes on pretty darn, you ain't got no problem seeing that purple. And I expected it to not blend as well as it did. It did a good job blending up here. I do, you know, I pay a lot of money for a lot of these palettes. And since this one is discontinued, like, you know, to replace it, well, I wouldn't replace it because I couldn't afford to. Yeah, it would just cost too much to replace it. But, you know, I want to keep my palettes nice, you know. I have nice stuff. I want it to stay nice, you know. So, this one did not come with a shadow protector thing, you know, the piece of plastic that sits on the shades. Wow. Whoa. But I do keep it in the box, and I keep the box in bubble wrap. And I feel like, you know, I mean, the less air that gets to the shades, the longer they last. Okay, I see some weird thing going on here. I don't know what that is, but I think we're going to come back and do something to that anyway, so I don't know. I don't know, guys. I mean, so far, I'm like, now, is my look going to look like Angela Bright? No, because she knows what she's doing. Number one. Number two, my eyes are not even close to, you know, her eyes. And number three, I'm not using the same brushes, so a lot of the application is coming off differently. But, you know, that's why I don't say I'm recreating the look. I say it's inspired by. Let's use Phone Home, which was the first one that we used. And it's getting a little, you know. And I'm going to use this brush because it's kind of good applicator plus a good blender. And she says, let's just put a little bit on there. I got probably too much on the brush. And we're going to blend that with that purple underneath. Okay. Thought I had too much. I was wrong. Of course, you know, it's better to build than it is to try to shade it out, you know. Oh, jeez. I gotta watch more of her stuff. Like, she obviously knows exactly what she's doing, because, wow, the blending that's going on with this old palette, and she knows exactly the right shades that complement each other to blend, is amazing. Okay, so Phone Home on there. All right, so I'm going to use this bit of a packing brush, another Lorella brush. Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but they came in a pack. And we're going to pack some of the Area 51. Just kind of cute because it's almost the same color as the brush. We're going to pack that on the outside corner of the lid. I probably should have watched that a little longer to see how far she actually came in. But, yeah. I know, guys, it's like, Lord have mercy, I almost pulled you over. Oof. Okay, I think I want, like, more purple, though. I don't know. I've been, like, really torn between going for dark looks and going for, like, the bright, springy, pretty looks. Oh my goodness, this is going to be difficult. Let me rearrange my face here. And packing brush means you are packing. So we're not swiping it on. It's kind of a pressing thing that's going on here. I'm just kind of taking what's on the brush, tapping off the excess, and then just pressing it where I want it. And look at that great big fat wrinkle right there. Oh, I will conquer you. Does that look the same on both sides? I think so. I think so. So this is totally turning into a purple look. And like right into the, I'm going to put it right on the end there. She wants to go right into the crease with this and really just push it into the crease. So this might not work for me because, yeah, usually you can't see the crease. But here we go, right? Just pressing that in there. Almost making like a line of sorts. All right, let's go on the other side. Yeah, I have to hold the mirror. Like, it's, I don't know. It's just, I wish I could like change hands. It would just work so much better. And it probably would be more symmetrical if I was approaching with the, you know, the opposite side with the opposite hand, right? All right, pressing down into the socket is what she said. Pressing down into the socket. Oh, I see a spot right there that needs some pressing down into the socket. Okay, here we go. She took the Black Hole, which is the very, very black shade. Oh, what kind of brushes have we got left here? Let's use, here's another, I believe this is a Sigma. I like this because it's a blender, but it's a blender with a lot of control. It's really good for the hooded eyes. So, we're going to use this to kind of deepen the, how black is this black? This is a, I mean, it's been a pretty darn black. Whoa. Whoa, baby. ho. Ho, 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 ho. Oh, can I get that in there the same way? Because, oh, have mercy. That is so... This is a very blended look. I mean, most of what this look is about is shades that are being blended together. So you don't have, like, yeah, you have the purple, but you don't have like black and brown and purple. It's like all blended. Oh my goodness. Can you even see that? You know, pay no attention to the wrinkles, okay? Jiminy. Jiminy. I almost feel like I need to go back in with Phone Home again. Or the purple, one of the two. Okay, so we did go back with the black and came under a bit. So we've got like, we're a little, you know, kind of coming around the eye here. The next thing we're going in with is Interstellar. Not sure I know where that is. Oh, yes. Okay. We are finally hitting up the shimmers. Interstellar. And Interstellar is going on the lid. On the lid, baby. Interstellar is really... Oh. Holy cow. Okay, let us do that. All right, there it is. And like I said, you know, old palette, wrinkles. Oh my goodness, that is... Why do I not use this palette more? I'll tell you why, because I have... I mean, I say that with every single palette. Like, why do I not use this palette more? Wow. I mean, look at that. That's not even with the finger, not even a wet brush. And it's, I don't know, 6 years old? This is really... This is why I pay for good makeup, because sometimes the cheaper palettes, you know, they come with an expiration date. They all do. Even Jeffree say like 12 months. You know, that's how long he guarantees them to be good. But if you take care of them, don't let them get dried out. Don't just leave them open, you know, on your desk. Put them away when you're done. Like I said, 6-year-old palette, you know. And because if I buy, back in the day, I was buying like 5 palettes a year at $50 a shot, average. Some of them more than that. That's a lot of money. And that's what, $250? And then in a year, you're going to throw it out. I want the stuff that's going to stay good. Okay, that is... Whoa. Okay, so we're going to go back and just kind of soften around and kind of blend between, you know, and she's like not doing a cut crease, even though it like ends up kind of looking like it, but it's not. So we just want to soften the edges. I mean, is this a purple look? Is this a, what is this? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to go in with Pluto, which is this shade here, and we're going to, you know, do our little inside dot, for which I'm going to use this. Not a lot of difference between Pluto and Interstellar, but Pluto is more white, and Interstellar has like a, almost like a champagne gold to it. See, I'm trying to just pat this on, and it's not, the brush is too wide. It's not coming off the brush like that, so there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's there. Okay. Okay, so next is basically liner and lashes, and need to put on some earrings. So I'll be right back. All right. Oop, I guess we can go without the cat ears, and you know, here's my look. My glasses. So just, you know, changing one for another, right? Basically, I use a little Jeffree lip gloss, and you guys, what do you think? Let's just do. All right, we used the black. We did not use Probe. We used, we used Phone Home. We used Gravity. We used Interstellar. And we used Pluto. So we have 5 shades here. Oh, no, 6, because we also used the purple. Okay, so we've got those, and let me just wipe my hand off real quick. Oh, there's, you know, this one here. This is what is actually on the lid, and I'll tell you what, Interstellar, that is really a beautiful shade. Okay, and the purple, I'm not expecting it to swatch well, just because it's old, and you know, I can feel that it's dry. But I feel like, even though, okay, yeah, and it is, I can feel that it's a little dry, but it's still performing. So, you know, that's that Jeffree Interstellar. Let's see if we can't get Interstellar to speak up a little more. There we go. You know, that formula is just really nice. So you guys, what do you think? The old girl and the old palette. So do you have an old palette that you need to dig out? Yeah, this looks great with all that on, right? Get it out. Try it out. You'll surprise yourself. A lot of times, especially with these older palettes, I know so much more about makeup than I did when I purchased this, that this is probably the best look I have ever done with this palette. I am really happy with it. Anyways, until the next time, I hope you wake up dancing, ba-boom, boom, wake up dancing every single day. Bye-bye.